Well, good morning. How are you all today? Besides disgusted, I'm going to put this on both channels, so welcome to both Integrative Preparedness and American Reversion. It's good to see you all. America is no more. That's probably what I'll title this, but it's the truth. America is no more. What comes next, we don't know. It's going to be called the United States of America, at least for a while. How long that's going to stay, who knows? Could stay for a long time, maybe not. We will see. But it's not the America that America was supposed to be. And I'm using America here in a couple of ways, just to describe, of course, the United States of America, but also to describe the spirit of the foundational principles on which the country was supposed to be based. And the spirit that probably will continue. We will hope on that. What comes next is difficult to say, but America will never, ever be the same again. After, and you all know what I'm talking about, in case you're watching this in 2026, it's the day after the kangaroo court convicted Donald Trump of 34 felony counts. And this, whether this is going to be the end. And it is the end of the old America. Make no mistake about that. But whether this is going to be the beginning of a new America, we have yet to see. And that's all going to depend on what happens. What happens with the process that Trump is involved in, what we do, what happens with us. I just put up, I put something else up, but we'll remember Jefferson's admonition about the tree of liberty. I won't say the whole thing here. Well, I could, but I'm going to try to stay away from the filters on this, because this is an important message, and I think I can say it, and I think you can understand it without me being too blunt. Okay, when you're involved in serious things, you don't come out and beat your chest about it. You don't come out and be we're going to do this and we're going to do that. It's too serious for that. It's too serious for bloviating. I'll say that. We saw, I did put up on the Patreon side of the Integrative Preparedness. I put up a thought every day to start the day. The one I put up today was a picture of the founders and the question, what would they do? What would they do in a situation like this? And I haven't checked to see what anybody's saying yet. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of good comments on that. But when a people had lived under an oppressive government for so long, as the founders did under England, they did something. And that became the United States of America. Now, it wasn't simple. It was a long process, and it involved the contributions and the sacrifices of a lot of people, done responsibly, done well, and then it kind of it had a tendency to start as a result of more government overreach and oppression in the early 1800s to mid 1800s, and the South tried to remedy that situation. That didn't work out as well as they would have hoped. I write about this a lot in my books. By the way, before I continue with this, I just found a set. As you know, I've run out of books. I'm waiting for the next load to be able to fill the orders. But if you want to know what I'm talking about, I'm talking about the Stonemont series. If you want to learn a lot about about comparative government, not just how to prepare for and survive and rebuild after a complete collapse of everything, I talk a lot about that situation and that led up to that war in the 1860s. You can get them on Amazon or directly from me. Our website's down below. I'll have to send these out today for somebody who's waiting on their order. But they tried, and it didn't work out too well. But our country has never, ever fully recovered from that from that attempted national divorce, as they would say, and it's not going to recover from this. The country became entirely different after that war in the 1860s. It's now entirely different. Like I say, whether this is the end of something or the beginning of something new is going to depend entirely on what we do at this point. Now, a lot of people don't have a lot of hope, and I'll have to say that that I have to agree with them on that. I don't know that the American people will stand up in such a way that will adequately address this situation. But I have said, and I've said more on the American Reversion channel, because over there we talk more about the political aspects and how to try to recover our country. That great movements or great changes require a couple of things, and the reason that we haven't changed things here, even though people have been grousing about what's happened with our government for decades, is because in order for a major movement to be successful, there has to be a couple of things at work. First, three things, actually, three main things. And I look back on other great movements, and you can see these in each of those. First off, enough people have to be upset enough at the same time. Okay? And to this point, not enough people have. Okay, Americans, for the most part, live pretty cushy lives. They're happy with. They may not be happy with what's going on. I mean, just anybody you talk to, we can bellyache for a couple of hours about all the horrible things that are going on with our government and the world and everything like that. But then we're doing it in our nice, comfortable houses, and we'll go out to our nice car, and we'll drive to a nice restaurant and eat a nice meal, and our kids go to great schools and all. So I mean, you can be upset, but none of this is touching. It's not putting a dent in the great life that most Americans live. So there have to be enough people upset at the same thing at the same time, or at least, some things that are close enough. Then there has to be a leader. There has to be a national leader. We see that in great movements. If you were a student of World War II or of Weimar Germany, if you were a student of Adolf Hitler, Hitler was a tremendous leader. And please don't come on here and tell me, I put something up, and I was shocked at this one time. And I put it up on Patreon, where I expect people to be smarter. And I was talking about the fact that Americans don't, for the most part, they don't understand the truth of certain things. They don't understand the truth of that war they mistakenly call the Civil War. They don't understand the truth of post-World War I Germany, the rise of Hitler, and World War II. And I had some people, actually, I got rid of somebody, and I rarely do that on Patreon. I had people calling up and saying they couldn't believe that I was being an apologist for Adolf Hitler. And I'll tell you, the ignorance in those comments just astounded me. And I am not sorry to lose people who act like that. What I'm saying, so put on your thinking caps here while I say this so that you don't misunderstand. The leadership of Adolf Hitler was astounding. He showed how it could be done of a people who had been destroyed and oppressed. Now, the soil in which he planted that seed was prepared by the Treaty of Versailles. Am I getting too deep for some people? I hope not. Keep up. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go study it instead of coming on the comment section and trying to argue. The Treaty of Versailles, which essentially destroyed Germany economically, socially, morally, all that. He saw in that an opportunity, and as a German nationalist, hated that and wanted to return Germany to its rightful place as really, the birthplace of European society and culture, blah, blah, blah. But his leadership is what, and his ability to articulate it, his ability, his speech, his oratory abilities is what drove that and what brought that country back. Now, I'm in no way saying that we need that exact thing here. What I'm saying is that is a perfect example of when you had enough people mad at the same thing at the right time. You had a leader who would get up there and was able to bring people together. And the third thing, there has to be a martyr. Adolf Hitler himself was a martyr when he was put in prison, during which he wrote his book Mein Kampf. So that gave him a certain a martyr mantle, that he was able to put. He was down for the struggle, as Rush used to make fun of Al Sharpton saying. Now we have kind of those situations. We have enough people, maybe, although they're living comfortable lives, maybe, who are mad at the same thing at the same time. We have a leader in Donald Trump. And the amazing thing here is that I will get people who come into the comments here and say, well, but I still don't like him. Are you paying attention? I mean, really, are you paying attention to what's happening in this country? And you just don't like something about his personality. Boo, grow up. Join the adult world. This country is going in the sewer. And you don't like the way that somebody acts or the way he tweets or he's arrogant or he's a rich guy, whatever like that. So we have the leader, and he is a martyr. We will see in what direction this goes. As I said yesterday, I'm like one of those Roman riders with a foot on two horses. One foot on each horse, right? I'm still riding thinking my one horse says this country's over for good. No coming back from this. My other horse says, there may still be a chance that we could do something about this. I would hope that that's true. I would hope that we can bring it back, because I would like my kids and grandkids to grow up in a country much like I did. And if it would take a lot, it would take a lot to get it back to that point. But I'm not ready to give up hope. However, hope is ethereal, right? Hope is a wisp of smoke in the wind. And we'll see what happens with that. My more realistic part is, you know what? It's over, and if we'll see what happens with the election, but I don't think there is any coming back from the split in this country. It doesn't matter what happens with the election. Doesn't matter what happens with Trump's appeals. This has shown a split in our country that cannot be healed, because people now feel so differently. I've said this before. You go back 50, 60 years, the average person, regardless of sex, of race, of religion, of economic position, felt pretty much the same about the major issues. You couldn't find people that would send their kids off and say it's okay to cheat on a test, for the most part. It's different. So I don't want my kids to grow up in a country that is continuing to get worse in this way, because it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And that's going to be a horrible future. It's going to be horrible to live in. But then, of course, it creates opportunities. So I still have a foot on each of those horses. I'm sure they're going to diverge one of these days. And then I'll have to make my choice as to which horse to stay on. Okay. So anyway, that's the thing. America is over as we have known it. What comes from this point is yet to be seen. You should do what you can, and yet I know that a lot of people out there are going to do nothing. Okay, your choice. I have talked in the past about the importance of being able to live under oppression, under an oppressive government. And that is important. I'll talk after I get done here. I have to take my son to football. When I get back, I'll do the one that I told you I was going to do yesterday about why I left law enforcement. And it has to do with exactly what we're seeing now with the weaponization of law enforcement. And I think it's a story that I've been wanting to tell for a while, and I will. But I'm happy to see that more and more people are waking up to the fact that law enforcement, our entire judicial system, our entire government has been weaponized against anyone who feels the traditional way about America and our country. So, what's happening in this? America is no more. It's kind of one of those things. The king is dead, long live the king. Well, America is dead, long live America, but a different one. And we'll see what that is. Okay. You all have a good day. By the way, remember you can get my books if you would like. You'll learn a lot. You'll learn a lot about not just preparing, surviving, comparative justice, that war back in the 1860s and the future, and what you can do to prepare to withstand anything that comes along. The links are down below. Get them through Amazon if you want. Like I said, I've run out now. I'm waiting for the next shipment. Should be in a couple of weeks. If you still want to order from me, and I hope you do. I love doing that. Order from the link down there at stonemont.us if you want them more quickly, or if you want them in Kindle or Audible. Also, you can get those through Amazon, and that link is down below. Pay attention to what's going on. Do what you can. Do what you think is right. Get ready for what's coming next. What kind of America are we going to be living in? Wringing our hands doesn't do any good, but preparing does. So remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.